What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's PvP My Kids IRL in the flesh. So, as you can tell, finally got a face camera. Been looking forward to using it for a while. Finally got one in. So, alright, what I've got for you today is, as you read in the title, we're going into an advanced guide of Dwalin. Yep, I am pronouncing it right. I did look it up. So, alright, so let's dive into his stats right here, pretty much. Equipment and a little bit about that real quick. Warrior, definitely one of the best ones you can get. Might 25, 2 skill points, commander damage plus 10%. That's pretty nuts. The physical damage plus 10%. Equipment, what I've got him set up right now is just some Dwarven effect stuff right now. Mainly because you are going to be using dwarves with him. Mainly, I will say he does stack really well with dwarves anyway, so this is actually decent. Dwarves allied units, damage plus 2%. That's alright. You know, he can work well with just about a lot of things because there's a few different builds for him that you can do whether or not you're at different respect levels. So, good stuff right there. Might and speed. He's definitely needing speed, so I would prioritize going into speed. Might helmet. This is a really solid helmet. I like doing this. Been talking with search subs about this every 2 rounds, plus 5%. Pretty good stuff right there. This is just a placeholder. If you have a might-based accessory, definitely specialize in it. But let's get to what you're all here for. So I've got respect level 4, which is all you need. That's all you need. So what we're looking at right here is Experienced Warrior, Durin's Blood, Musician, Don't Dive into Warrior, the Lonely Mountain. Really, he's an all-in. I mean, he's not a staller. He's not anything. He's all in damage. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into how I would set him up. So the way I would kind of set him up is going through whenever you're starting is going to be different than how I would build him at the end game, for instance. So Experienced Warrior is what I would be doing levels 1 to 20, even in starting season 2. Durin's Blood is going to be good whenever you get past that level 30 mark, just about. You're wanting to dive into this because this is really good whenever you've got All In and you've got Whirlwind and you've got Durin's Blood maxed. So that's whenever you're getting the full effect of all of these abilities, is all this skill damage and all this. Experienced Warrior makes it really good whenever you're able to continuously attack and have a more predictable thing in the early game. You know, I wouldn't be betting money on round 3 and round 2 doing all of your damage. You know, whenever you're starting levels 1 to 20, you want consistent reports. You don't want mixed results. You want consistent. You know, whenever you're going into a tile that you're going to be able to do this, this, and that. So let's go into the points. So levels 1 to 20. This is what I would do right here. Depending on how much respect you have for him, you might want to go all the way into Experienced Warrior before even getting this, for instance. But, for instance, right here, what I would do is I would go all the way into this right here, get a few points into this, go ahead and get this. I love this because it's not a chance of doing additional damage. You just do additional damage. Hunt down too. Man, he stacks so well with auto-attacking, it's ridiculous. But, for instance, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and max this right here. And then what I would do, guys, is at this point, you're at level 20, for instance, so you've got him probably, if you started Erebor, for instance, and you got him, you would be pretty high respect level with him anyway, even through free-to-play. He's probably he's one of, if not the best starter we have on the good side. Now, this right here is, why would you go down the Musician tree? Why not go into Warrior of the Lonely Mountain? I'll tell you why, right here. Level-headed. Round 2, or every 2 rounds, you could say, allied units, that's all allied units too, by the way, removes 1 random debuff. This makes him such a great attacker. Such a great attacker. 3 points, and you're already removing 1 random debuff, all of your allies. So that's madness, that's anything. That is anything. So that's what makes him, so no matter what, always put 3 points right here. Always put 3 points. This point, all into Durin's Blood at this point. You might even want to respec doing this and then go all the way into Durin's Blood and get it. You see, I'm respect level 4 with him only, and I'm able to pretty much get him the setup that he needs already. And then I'll go all into All In, and then we'll talk about the abilities right here and kind of what all they do and kind of diversifying. So All in. So that's kind of the way I would spec them out right there. Is experienced warrior, up to 15, get 3 in each, and then go to musician, get 1 in level headed. That's all you need. Durin's Blood maxed out because then you get the full effect of all in and whirlwind. So against 2 enemy targets, deals 300%. So that's 35% added on. So um, that's nuts. Yes, that's almost 400%. You know, pretty much 30% of that extra 100. So 40% on that. 750%. That is nearly 1,000%. I mean, my gosh, guys, that's nuts. And then you're getting plus 15 might. And then the max effect on this is awesome. Damage against melee units. If you're going up against an all melee team, you're gonna wipe the floor with them with this guy. So you got an extra 3 points. You see, you could go into 2 points right here and then get Longbeard, for instance, at my respect level, which is 4. So if you're at 5, you'd be able to get Commander Physical Damage ignores 7.1% of the target's defense. Giant Slayer. Now, my personal opinion is some of these commanders need to have really good 2-point abilities. So part of the reason why I like Faramir so much is because he has 2 really solid. He has Guide and he has this. So he has 2 really solid ones, and then he has points where you can additionally invest in for their effects. Haldir has it, and similar champions like that. For my last 3 points, I would go all into collaboration right here. Go ahead and get this. Normal attack still 100%. So at respect level 5, I would have this maxed at level 50. So, and I've seen the dwarves running this pretty well. You know, we were facing them nonstop, and Dwalin was such a problem to get through. So this is how I would have them built, guys. Durin's Blood max. Early game, though, I would invest into Experienced Warrior, and then maybe at level 30, I would reinvest those points and get all in, and then Whirlwind and Durin's Blood, and put no points here, and then max this going later on. But he has so much Commander, normal attack. Such good stuff. I mean, all this works so well with his kit. All this works so well with his kit. So let's dive into the unit composition real quick, because I want to do all of it. I want to do all of it. So the way I've got them set up right now is you're going to consistently be running Ram Riders. Where are they at? Guardians. No matter what, you're going to be running these 2. Because of him being all in. You don't want to run Cataphracts with him because he's doing. You want people that do more damage. You want people that do more damage. Obviously, that's the point of this game intentionally. But with a unit that is all in, you want them to be doing more damage effects. So you can probably just stop right here and just use Guardians and Rammers. Let's say you wanted to do 3. Depends what region you're in. Depends what region you're in is important. Because if you're Erebor, then run Iron Warriors with them as well. And you can substitute Guardians, but I do like the bleed effect that they can stack. They work well with Ram Riders because they're reducing the armor. The Dunedain. Dunedain, whatever you want to call them. So, Gracefulness, damage received from ranged units. Damage. So these are strictly for a ranged unit composition. And with the way that they changed it to where you can now do changing. So if you see a lot of ranged units, you're going against the elves, you're gonna be using these guys with Dwalin. You can count on that. Cavaliers are all right. I wouldn't use them unless they're cavalry only, because this is only for 1 instance, and they are faster than the Ram Riders. So trample will not go off until after the Cavaliers have already done their 50%. So that's my opinion on that. Cavaliers are too fast for the Ram Riders to be in the same position. Sharpshooters, these guys die so fast. I have just not had good success with them. They die way too fast. First two rounds damage. These are good with follow-up commanders because this is not every time they attack. This is how much damage they do. So follow-up commanders are really good with them. Sentinels would probably be your best bet for an archery unit. Consistent damage, 20%, and they avoid the first instance of damage, which would probably mostly kill them if you're going up against another cleave unit. I'm not really going to talk about the higher units that you can use. You can, of course, throw them in with Beast. You could throw them in with Eagles. You know, obviously, that would be awesome if you have it. Or use Oathbreakers, use Eagles. All of them are good. Master Throwers, I'm not a big fan of the Giant Slayer thing, as I once was, because it's really only useful against, you know, the large units. And that's really only Mordor and evil side in general. And that's if they're using the trolls. Battle Leader's Bane against melee units. This is good. They just have such a wide range of damage. They're not consistent units. So if you want to, and if you did have a full dwarven equipment setup, I would use the Master Throwers. Absolutely. And mine, Swan Knights, I can't use them, but in this instance, if I was if I had March Wardens, the Linden units, the Nordor Longshots, for instance, stack so well with Dwalin because they're all in, they do great damage, they're unaffected by stun, they keep shooting out damage. They have defense plus 20. Bow Knights are a solid consideration, 36, 42 damage, high HP. But you also got to consider this conscription cost of all these. This is such a good conscription cost. You can just push out Guardians, and Ram Riders are cheap as well. Only 1,800 wood. Solid stuff. You see, look at this. This is expensive to run. And in more time, you want to be putting units on the field. Sharpshooters, they're pretty cheap across the board. Sentinels, they're cheap across the board too. So if you're looking for an archery unit to throw in there, I would use probably sharpshooters in this instance. They do die quickly, but you're all in anyways. You could throw in bow knights, but I would probably just stick to using probably a larger force of guardians and ram riders, and then throw in the oathbreakers. Throw them in there. It's lagging, but throw them in with eagles. Throw them in with these guys as well. These wouldn't be too bad to use as well. Just high damage. These guys would function pretty well with the ram riders. So that's just my opinion. The heralds, I don't know how to get success with these guys. They only have one ability. They're elvish. They don't really work well if you're using Dwalin with full might. But this would be the way I would run them. Early game, you're obviously just going to be using whatever you can. Guards of the Tower, I've stopped using overall. They do no damage, low HP, not that high of defense, and they're only good against mounted units. So if you are running up against Rohan, use them. Absolutely. Use Guard of the Towers, Guardians, and Ram Riders, and you will do fantastic. You'll stomp the floor with them. So use these 2 units as your standard. Throw in a third one if you need the situational damage. Cavaliers are good. I just wish the Ram Riders would proc it first, and then they would be a whole lot better. Cataphracts, not so much. They're expensive to run, to be honest. 6,800 food, 5,500. So, and they're faster than the Ram Riders, so they're gonna be attacking before them. So unless you had a chance to get these above like 111, you'd be actually really good right there. Trying to think of anything else. I think that's it. Overall, though, he is such a good starter, if not the best. Really good stuff from him. He's the best damage one that you can have. And not mention too, with having a high respect level going into season 2, I would still be interested in starting him if I was in Erebor or any region really. And if you start Erebor, you get Faramir and you get Dwalin. You get the 2 best starters in the game, aside from Eowyn, but she's only used for cavalry. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.